KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala and a delegation of MECs, CEOs of public entities and heads of department are meeting with high-level delegations from over 40 of the world's economic powerhouses. This in an attempt to rebuild confidence, strengthen relations and promote trade and investment ties in the province following last month's rioting, looting and unrest. Senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is there and he joins us now. Hello, Aviwe. I understand you have the Premier with you this evening.
Yes, Sally, that's the case. Just after moments got out of a meeting, we understand that started meetings behind closed doors from 3 p.m. today, meeting around 6 nations just to garner in those investments. Remember the businesses that have been impacted by the looting itself, about 40,000 with a dent of about 20 billion to the KwaZulu-Natal economy. Now joining me is the Premier Sihle Zikalala. Thank you for joining us at the eNCA. But you're meeting different nations and now you're about to have dinner with 47 countries. What are the discussions like behind doors? What are you saying to them?
Well, firstly, what we are saying is that KwaZulu-Natal is still open for investment, and therefore we are working on business retention to build confidence for investors. Practically, that means members of the diplomatic corps, as we engage with them, should also understand clearly the plans that we have to rebuild KwaZulu-Natal, and should also work with us where or in cases where some companies that are based in the province may be suffered. For instance, we had an engagement with South Korean ambassador, and obviously we have to discuss a lot of issues, the future investments, but more specifically discuss about LG, which was bent down, and see how do we then ensure that we communicate one message, but get that back, that company back into operations. So we're here to ensure that all members of diplomatic corps understand that as KwaZulu-Natal we are improving our safety plans, we're working to build social compact and social cohesion. We are working together with companies that have been affected by the unrest to ensure that they recover and go back to operations. And finally, that we are also still open for investment and we are a gateway to Africa.
Surely they might be a bit wary of reinvesting in the KwaZulu-Natal economy, given what just happened. What are you saying then to give them that confidence that everything is okay? And are you getting any real investments coming in now?
We are getting more of good support, putting in place plans to ensure that we reach out to companies and communities of various countries that are in South Africa. But others are even looking to ensure that we turn this challenge into an advantage of saying how do we build an inclusive economy where investors and the South African people will benefit.
And just lastly then, in terms of the businesses that have been impacted on the ground, what are they saying to you and how quickly will it be back to some sort of normalcy?
It depends on how each company engages with processes, because there are processes that have been put in place to support companies that have been affected. As the provincial government, we are also having some incentives for those companies that have been affected, and therefore it depends on how the companies are engaging with government, as well as how they ensure that they speedily submit so that they comply.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala, just coming out from back-to-back meetings from 3 p.m., different nations, talking essentially about the looting that happened in KwaZulu-Natal, mentioning that he just assured LG after it was burnt down, the South Korean company, speaking with the delegation there, just assuring them that things will go back to normalcy.
Well, let's hope so, Aviwe. There certainly is, as you say, it's 20 billion rands worth of damage. It's certainly not the image of South Africa we want beamed around the world. But he seems fairly upbeat, doesn't he? Aviwe, can you still hear us? All right, I think we've lost that connection to Aviwe, but you heard there from Aviwe Mtila, senior reporter, speaking to the KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala. He has quite a job on his hands. He's going to convince potential investors, speak to big company owners and assure them that KwaZulu-Natal is open for business once more.